Dear friends, we are pleased to release the sixth volume of Pen audiobook. The first five volumes focused on the works of Malayalam writers. As per the valuable suggestions of esteemed listeners, the sixth volume is an anthology of English audios as Indian voices in English. In this volume, we have the famous poet and Sahitya Academy Award winner 2012, Dr. Shefalika Verma, Sreenivas Srivalsan, Rash Ravishankar, Aarti Ashok, Chandramohan Satyanathan, Usha Prabhakar, Pramila Taravat, Dhanya Krishnan, Sibin Haridas, Smita Bhaskar, and Kavita SK. Enjoy the boundless joy of listening Pen audiobook. Looking forward your support and cooperation. Once again, welcome to Volume 6. Thank you.
Hello, I am Dr. Shefalika Verma from Delhi. Here is my poem titled Love is a Wonder. In my dream, I saw me walking on the sea beach. In my dream, I saw me walking on the sea beach. Suddenly, I fell in love with the waves on the beach. Suddenly, I fell in love with the waves on the beach. The whistling winds playing with my hair. The whistling winds playing with my hair, embracing my whole body. Embracing my whole body. The cloud, the sun, moon, star, the universe, the vast ocean full of lost souls, the vast ocean full of loved souls, a mystery before me made of sweet dreams. Everything appeared to be very lively to me, so alive that but the feeling and it stirs me, something deep inside me. A mystery before me, made of sweet dreams. Everything appeared to be very lively to me. So alive that, but a feeling, and it stirs something deep inside me. Oh, nothing, I was in love with sea. Oh, nothing, I was in love with sea. I myself became that moment. Really, love is a wonder. Really, love is a wonder. I was in love with sea. It's also a wonder. I was in love with sea. I myself became that moment. Thank you everybody. Love you all.
Janini by Sreenivas Srivalsan. She made her way down the tepid road that burned black in the sun, with naked feet so supple as an icy cube placed in an oven. Her eyes, her hands marched to the play. Sunlight scorched those little eyes which could dream only but a spoonful of rice. She jumped right, made a somersault, touched her nose with those sizzling legs, and she jumped left, side the wind, walked with her hands upside down. Tiny hands moved left and right, up and down, jumbled and crawled. One by one gathered from here and there, gazing at her with a sensitive nod. Burned the skin and empty stomach, twitched her lips again and again. Coins dropped from hither and thither, blistered in the dark road laid astride. Not enough for a full meal. As the cloud withdrew, her brown knotty hairs bound her cheeks glistened with tears. Dash the wheels of weary thoughts, I hunger to speak. Dash the wheels of weary thoughts, I hunger to speak.
Hi, I am Rash Ravishankar reading my poem Dranyan. Dranyan is a Tibetan musical instrument, and this poem has something to do with Tibetan freedom from Chinese occupation. Dranyan. To begin with, I didn't know what he was playing. It was shaped like a snake or a snake god and wailed when he ran his fingers up and down its spine. But I heard some clouds whiplashing the peaks and the screams of the moon as the sun stabbed its belly and the heartbeats of a young chiru hanging from the fangs of a speedy red fox. I knew then that it was dipped in a pool of sorrow that lay still in a high valley beyond the snow. When he finished, the sun had fallen behind the high cliff, and it was time to repay him. I emptied out my bag and counted the notes and gave it all to him, the heap. He smiled and took it and went on his way, vanishing up the mountain path in a burst of mist. When I reached home, I found within my bag the Dranyan he played that began to wail on its own. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Arati Ashok and I'm doing this reading for Pen Books. The poem I'm going to read is from my collection titled Lady Jesus and Other Poems. The title of the poem is Muslim Rohingya 3 Years. Muslim Rohingya 3 years. Sometimes there is a little bit of me sticking out like red meat. The flies swarm around it. I know there is rot spreading a little from the edges. It started the moment I saw the little girl floating in the water. A Rohingya, she floats from Myanmar to my doorstep when we are getting ready with the flower carpets. Her face is bloated, her eyes closed. On her red dress, the butterflies are still alive, flitting on the half-opened flowers. She does not seem surprised. Where are the others who walked with her? The mother whose hand she left the moment the water took her in. The sister she laughed with a moment ago. The father she looked from afar. The brother who carried her around. The friends under the tree with whom she played before they came to kill. I cannot see them. The water is cold where she floated bit by bit into my eyes. Was she a Muslim? Was she Buddha's enemy? I do not know. The moment I saw her face, I felt the rot spreading. And now I am almost dead. It is not the water, I know. It is not the Buddha, I know. I saw him close his eyes in prayers like she had closed hers in death. Thank you.
Her hair, freshly harvested dreadlocks, unedited gospel of love, off limits to combs. Tresses like streams of eternal fire from the arsenal of her body. Poems conceived in a celestial tongue, when stars align with Caesarean precision, it is her own language. Every evening, on her terrace, she lets her hair down and flies kite. Her verses tell vivid stories stitched together in myriad colors. Her verses gurgle like rivers let loose. She never braids them with her bare hands before a poetry reading. Her kite, untethered to her surname, soars high till it gets entangled with the stars. Attempting to translate her poems is like making love to a capricious mistress. Her curly, kinky stream of verses sway to the rhythm of her gait, untamed by the clanging of her anklets. A book of poems, a treatise of disheveled hair and tresses on fire.
Today, the whole world is reeling under a once-in-a-lifetime crisis, probably the most destructive hazard faced by mankind since World War II. This pandemic is withering lives and wilting economies. Yet, I feel there is a silver lining to this COVID cloud. Over to the poem, Silver Lining. Brazenly hath man destroyed Mother Planet, his toxic greed polluting his mind, exploiting nature to excess, forgetting to listen to nature, forgetting to respect her divine gifts, forgetting too to share the world with other living forms. Now, like a thunderbolt from the cloudless sky, totally unprecedented, COVID, the emissary of death, has struck, spreading fear deadly with his ubiquitous, devastating presence. Is God the Creator testing man, his strength to weather these dire times? It is a warning clear from the cosmos to mankind to stop his dominance over nature in his endless lust for power. If this warning goes unheeded, the microscopic virus can sweep clean mankind. For it knows no barriers, nor borders, and strikes sans distinctions the rich and poor alike. Lockdowns have dipped human activity and lulled the sound of traffic, bringing peace and tranquility on this our beautiful planet. A silver lining doth appear in the looming COVID cloud. Changes spectacular hath appeared on the face of the earth. The rivers are sparkling blue. The hills do majestically stand in the pristine silence. The skies are so clear, and the earth does breathe with so much ease. Birds and animals do roam freely in their newfound freedom and peace. Ah, the earth is replenishing. She is rejuvenating. Let's hope the restored health of Mother Earth will restore love and compassion and restore forsaken practices hitherto forgotten. Look after nature and she will care for you, and together defeat the menacing virus and be spared its wrath. Pray this will be a turning point for man to redefine the new world order and think and reevaluate and shape his future to turn calamity into opportunity and failure into success. If man, with humility and conscience, acknowledges equality and interdependence and purges himself of prejudice all, surely will the canvas of the world change for the better. Thank you.
Hello friends, I am Pramila Taravat, HST English, GHS Chittoor. Here is a poem for you, Muted Machine. As a fatal blow of the invisible time, many sharp spears and swords thrust her deeper 1,000 times until the thorn of passions burst out into bloody beads. Rinsed away the roots of dream, wrought the soul to be a nation, muted the murmurings of the mind, entombed the memories in marbles, extinguished sparks of far-fetched ideals, transformed a hypersensitive to a senseless mass of bubbles just to burst away, even in the spring breeze. Thank you.
Hello friends, I am Dhanya Krishnan, working as HST English at GHS Koduvayur. Today, I am going to introduce my own poem for you. This is especially dedicated to all the firstborns. On to the poem. To you, my Minnie. On a moonlit night, when the stars shined in its wedding suit, when sleep turned down my proposal, when memories jostled and stepped down the ladder, I thought of you, my Minnie, who brought me into this world, scrolling with vexations and tears in your eyes. Your heart brimmed with ecstasy and pride as you adorned the dignity of motherhood. You are my first teacher who fed me with your bread, tickled me with samples when I was in my birthday suit. You tutored me and never bought a carouse for me. Excused time to coddle me, safeguarded me from my father's wilderness. When destiny played its part well to adorn me with another child, you defaced me from your bosom. I was derelicted and made a refuge in Granny's castle for making me dexterous. Her yellow tears and wrinkled cheeks heeded me. She was provident and benevolent. The words that flowed out of my desperate mind, craving for your attention, took place in pages as you never wrote a reply. You never came to see me for unknown reasons. I loitered in my mind's solitude. When I entered the threshold of youth, you treated me lugubriously with your lukewarm smile. You had no plans for me and no anxieties about my future. You never came for the convocation and never for my betrothal. You never adorned my tresses with the jasmine flowers. You never shed tears as I joined hands in the wedlock. You concealed your joy when I mothered a child, and jovially sat at the corner when I struggled hard for the dignity of motherhood. But you unveiled your love for my little ones, wrapping your love for me. Destiny eclipsed your love for me, turned me as your foster child. When time takes me into its grave, you will definitely be for me my mother, my angel, giving answer to my rhetorical question, do you love me? Thank you.
Hi, I am Sibin Haridas. My two stories. The first one is Buddha. God once again come to the side of Buddha, slowly laughed, then pointing to the shade of Bodhi tree and say, once again. There was a complete silence, no answers, no questions. After a long break, Buddha said, I have no glittering lights in my hand, only light. The second one is face. In my view, you only had a one face. Someone said there are a lot of faces, and then knowing that the face disappeared. You are lucky. You don't need a mirror anymore.
Name of the poem, Our New World, written by Smita Bhaskar. We are living in a world where we are restricted to touch each other. It's time to learn to touch with heart, not just by hands. We are living in a world where we need to cover our mouth. It's time to learn to listen to our fellow beings, taking a pause. We are living in a world where we have to cancel our travels. It's time to learn to travel back to our roots, where we belong. We are living in a world where we are asked to breathe wearing a mask. It's time to allow our Mother Earth to breathe freely. We are living in a world where we have to postpone meeting our loved ones. It's time to connect with people emotionally than physically. We are living in a world where we had to change our plans. It's time to plan a better future with all the precautions. We are living in a world where we are scared of a dread virus. It's time for us to be positive in life and stay negative in the test.
The Viewless Wings of Poesy. This is the title of my review, and the title is taken from famous poet P.B. Shelley's Ode to the West Wind. Once Robert Frost remarked, "Poetry is when an emotion has found its thought and thoughts has found words." I think this is true in the case of a poet, and her name is Bindu Jagadish. Bindu Jagadish is a poet and a teacher. She is working as a teacher in Government Victoria College, Palakkad. She wrote poems and collected it in the forms of an anthology, and the name of the anthology is Song of the Witch. When I went through the poems, I was in the field of imagination, realities and beauties of nature. Bindu's poem gave me immense pleasure and deep pain because it reveals the sweetness from surroundings and the agony from world. The book contains 72 poems. It deals with different subjects and it conveyed various messages. The first poem, named Books, is a philosophical poem and it recollects her childhood memories. Another poem, its name is Untidy Thoughts, and it also reveals burdens of life. While going through the lines, I weighed a new head, a fresh head, an empty head with more storage space, uncultured with thoughts. These lines convey a new way of thoughts in my mind also. Some of her poems, A Dream Journey, Crowds, Reader, Bloodbath, Memories, Lost Keys are outstanding and which staple the identity of poet in poetic world. I conclude my words with reciting a few lines from her poem, Poetry. Poetry reveals you, your anxieties, fears, desires, tears, love and lust, laughter and joy. Thank you. Dear friends, thank you for listening our audiobook. I think you have traveled through a world of fantasies, imaginations and realities. Literature is a mixture of emotions and facts. Our audiobook is an example of such work. So, we want your encouragement, opinions and valuable suggestions. Your reviews help us to refine our work. Friends, our next audiobook will release soon. So, wait for our new decade of literary flowers. Thank you.